Hello, little Swamp Wallaby. How are you? What do you think? What do you think? Hey, what do you reckon? What's your point of view? Hello? Here comes Mum. What do you think? Hey, what do you think? You heard me talking to your kid, didn't you? Yes. Mrs. Whitetail and her Joey and her footling daughter, Princess, and young Dyson, who is barely 2 years old. He started to develop big man, he-man shoulders, which sort of means that most of the older male kangaroos around here must have succumbed to the tarmac arena or been shot. So this 2-year-old barely adolescent is going to have to step up. Life's tough when you're a male kangaroo living wild. This little fella over here is a boy as well. And he's not out of the pouch yet. And this is a little boy. What do you think? That's a bit alright, isn't it? Oh, look what that brings. Hey, guess who's got ears? Yes, yes. The entire clan has decided to come along. Oh, I see. Yes, yes. Licking your lips, eh? Hey, you'd like to be fed? There you go. That's a boy. Yes, you're a good boy, aren't you? Eh? You'd like some too? Wait there. Okay, yes. You can have another one. Would you like a piece of bread, Princess? Would you like your piece of bread? That's it, yes. Come on. Come on. Oh, I'm not going to come in there, she says. What about over here? Come on. That's a go. That's it. Yes, you can have that. And you're not going to come in any closer than that, I know. Your habits are legend. And there we have the hiding of the Swamp Wallaby. Young buck or little buck? I sort of forget what I've tagged him, but anyway. Fruitcake son. Maybe we'll just have to go with that, eh? We'll adopt a Greenland nomenclature. He's Fruitcake son. And that would mean that the Joey in her pouch, I keep telling you, you are not permitted to steal bread from the... You're not permitted to steal bread from the Swamp Wallabies. I won't let you do it. It's rude. Come on, little fella. Come on. Come on. Here's your bread. That's it. Come on. Back in there. There it is. That's it. I know. I know. She's a nasty old bitch. She's very selfish. It's because she's got a Joey in her pouch. But we do have some rules about fairness around here. daughter princess. She doesn't want to share the glass crust in her mouth with her footling, probably almost 2-year-old daughter. Meanwhile, this little dill he's run away from the noise of Princess approaching Mrs. Whitetail, and he's left his bread there again. So I'll tax a bit of it for the currawong who missed it. Come on, down you go. Now here he is, back again. Come on. That's a boy. Yes, you're a brave little boy when you want to be, aren't you? Eh? You've dropped your bloody bread again. Come back here. Come on. No need to run away over there, even if these buggers are coming up closer, because I am between them and you. Oh, look at that. Isn't that sad? We're going back to eating bloody gum leaves. There we go. And there's Dyson, politely watching on. Guess who has done it again? And once again, come back. They truly are. More fun than a barrel of monkeys. But I got to say, I can understand a little bit of marsupial body language and gesture and a few of their calls. Yes, he knows he's not supposed to go near it. Don't you, mate? See? He's grown up understanding how the system works. All these kangaroos have. And the funny thing is, when you get a passing, wandering kangaroo who doesn't understand the system, they're so freaked out at the sight of wild kangaroos eating out of a human's hand that they stand well back, 20, 30 metres away, and it takes them weeks to get to the point where they'll come in even as close as this to watch the interactions. Now, I hear that on the news there's a 63-year-old lady might be out of intensive care by now. After she tried to get between an alpha male kangaroo and her husband while her husband was getting a bit of a kicking while they were feeding wild kangaroos on their bush block. I think it was in southeast Queensland. And like basically the idea is you don't walk directly at a wild kangaroo, you let them come to you. And if they stand up on their back legs, back away. Because standing up on their back legs means that they're preparing to fight. This fella's sniffing at his auntie's tail. So my guess is that what with the drought and all that, you've got a couple of tree changers living on a bush block. They've got used to feeding the local kangaroos. Feed pressure has caused transient wandering kangaroos that are not used to the system to come through the place, and one of the big fellas has stood his ground while the old bloke has walked up to it thinking that it was just a normal kangaroo who understood the way of their feeding system. and the big alpha male has stood up and reached out with his arms, which is a challenge, and the old man has reached out with his bit of feed or whatever, and he's literally provoked the kangaroo into attacking him. And then, instead of grabbing the kangaroo by the tail and using him like a wheelbarrow and having him helpless, the woman has got between an angry kangaroo that was kicking a human and that person who was getting the kicking. So whereas the husband only got a bit of a dust up, she got, I think she got punctured lung and broken ribs and other abdominal internal injuries. So I'm afraid this is going to have to be one of those YouTube videos that it's in the category of don't try this at home, because unless you speak enough kangaroo to not insult them, it's not really safe to do. But I can get away with it, pretty much, because I understand a little bit of marsupial. After all, some of my best friends are kangaroos and wallabies. Going to come out from behind the tree, that's it. Good little fella. And I don't know whether there's any validity to the following hypothesis or not, but I have developed a hypothesis which suggests to me that some of the kangaroos that are being reported as just appearing out of the wild and randomly attacking people, golf courses and feeding locations and stuff like that, I'm wondering if they are perhaps the released juveniles which have grown up to become full-size adults who were in the pouch when their mother was shot. And they can, remember the mob being panicked and trying to flee and friends and relatives being shot down around them, and then they can remember being pulled out of the pouch by humans and then sort of kept in a kangaroo's idea of a prison for a while before being released. That might be a good way to teach a young kangaroo to hate humans on sight, and maybe one day when you get big enough, try and get even with the bastards, because it's been raised by humans and it thinks like humans and it doesn't know how to think like a kangaroo or a wallaby. Whereas the joeys that were in the pouch when mummy was hit by a car on the tarmac arena, all they know is that mum got scared, there was a great big thump after a bright white light, and then suddenly, after some indeterminate amount of time, they were rescued by a human and taken away from death by starvation and exposure, and they were raised and then let go. So some of the released wildlife rescue animals might have a good view of humans, and some of them might have a bloody awful view of humans. So anyway, that's why I feel pretty safe feeding the kangaroos and the swamp wallabies around here. Warbles on a lot to YouTube. Ciao.